We are at the QT that was burned out by the riots. Riots are over. Everybody now is just demonstrating their unhappiness with the police department. I'm here with a young man that's got something to say. What brought you here?
Well, I think everybody's brought out here for the same reason. We've experienced as a community an injustice, and we haven't really seen a resolution yet. So we got to keep coming back out every day demanding that we want justice, because without justice there is going to be no peace if we're going to keep showing up every day.
And that's a part of it, you know. The Timothy Showcase right here on ABC 30, that's what we're all about. We're not only about the unique restaurants and talents and everything, but this is a part of our everyday, the community. We want to be sure to get the message out like all these other news people. We're not the only ones down here. We're not trying to scare everybody. We just want the truth and how everyone feels. Black, whites, all colors. This could be you at any time. So you feel the same way, young lady?
Yeah, I came out here today to feed people. Someone in my family actually donated their culinary skills and made some 3 really tasty casseroles, so we dropped them off and wanted to feed people because we feel that food brings people together, and it's something that all humans share in common, so we feel that if we can come together on just the sole issue of providing food, that's a good place to start with trying to connect with our communities and reach out to people.
People are donating not only their time but their resources. She's one lady brought food in. Some people are bringing down, as you see now, bringing towels, they're bringing paper towels, everything. So everybody's coming together as one big family. We're not against the police department. We appreciate the police department. We appreciate the good ones. We don't need the bad ones. We don't need the headstrong ones. We just need the ones that will come down, find out the facts of what happened, and react. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. Don't do street justice. Sir, I do appreciate you. Hey, I'm Tim, Timothy Showcase. We are back. We're still here at Ferguson, right here on West Florissant at the protest. Been going on now for about 5 days. I just talked to one group of people that were donating their time, their resources, and everything to help the people out that are proving something here, or trying to prove something, to get justice. That's all they want is justice. We're not taking sides with anybody. We just want the same thing as everybody else. We just want to know what happened and what they think about what's going on. How the police have been here. I mean, about the unfairness of the, 5,000 some odd tickets that was given out, and only 400 some odd tickets were given to the Caucasians. Not that we're saying Caucasians should be given as many, but why is this off balance? We want to know something like this. This is not right. You got St. Anne, you got St. John, you got all these communities that are making their budgets on African Americans and Hispanics. Excuse the language, people, but that's BS. You know, it's not so. All we want is justice, like anybody else. We're not asking for favors, and we do have jobs. A lot of us have good jobs. I'm doing mine right now. We have jobs, but we can't afford to take care of your budgets. I'm here with another young lady here, and she's got a comment on what she does. So we're going to talk to her, and what's your name?
Katrina Mitchell. Hi.
Katrina, what brings you here?
Okay, so I think I come from an interesting perspective. I'm a law student at St. Louis University School of Law. I'm going into my 2nd year, and I'm kind of outraged by the implications of the criminal justice system here. You see how Black lives are kind of undervalued sometimes in American society. How you know, cases are handled differently depending on who is involved. You see a police officer who shot a boy who apparently was walking on the wrong side of the street, or walking in the middle of the street, and that's the whole reason why he was approached to begin with. And so then the officer brings up allegations that he was assaulted, and he brings up allegations that later on that this guy was previously involved in a robbery and things like that. However, there's no evidence that he was ever trying to detain Michael Brown, but rather that he just started unloading his weapon on him when Michael Brown, there are multiple witnesses who say that Michael Brown didn't even present any deadly force. And generally in the law, you are not supposed to use deadly force unless you are presented with deadly force. So you're supposed to match force with force. And being punched in the face or trying to bring justice to somebody who is involved in criminal activity does not warrant shooting them multiple times, especially when they're running away and no longer posing a threat at the scene. So you know, it's just kind of interesting to see how these things are handled. There's, you know, reports that the officer is on paid administrative leave, where anyone else in a situation like this would be in jail, without bond, awaiting a trial. And so I think the justice that the people speak of is the same kind of justice that everyone else, especially members of the black community, are brought to when they're involved in those kind of situations.
So what would you think would be an answer to that? Do you think they should have like a civilian, you know, like a civilians that watch over and say, okay, you know, when this happens, then we have 5 officers or 5 prosecuting attorneys or whatever it may be, and then we have 5 civilians that would come in and say, okay, we all sit at this panel and let's see what really happened here. You know, let's talk about, okay, what did he do? And when this happened, should he be put on, like I say, a paid vacation, or should he be, like anybody else that works a regular job, you would get suspended without pay until pending dismissal. But then when they do it, then it's more of a, well, you're going to get a paid vacation and just sit back and relax until we get this thing covered up. And I'm not taking sides, but I'm just as aggravated as anybody else, because this could happen to me, happen to this young lady. She's a law student. She don't have a record. I don't have a record, but it can happen to anybody. And it is frustrating. We're not animals, as if they were, like they were pertaining to us as animals. We're not animals. You're animals. You know what? Nobody's an animal. But it is the animal instinct is to survive. Somebody's beating on you, like the young man in that other state that they were beating on, choking to death, and they said, oh, but he was resisting arrest. It's the animal instinct is to try to survive. That's not animal, you know? What goes on here is the same thing. The young man was in the street. From what we were told, he was backing back. The officer's car door would have hit him. He pushed the car door, and that's where it all went wrong at. So who was wrong? Both of them were wrong. But was it worth taking a person's life over a pack of cigars or something, cigarillos or something?
But then even with that, the chief of police even came out and admitted that he had no connection to that. That the whole reason why he was approached had nothing to do with him being a suspect of a robbery. And so I think that, jaywalking, that warrants a ticket at most. Assaulting a police officer, there are criminal charges for that. You go to jail and you get charged with that, and then we go from there based on our criminal justice system, but it does not warrant death in this country. The penalty for assaulting a police officer, the penalty for robbery is not death. There is a penalty of death for murder in the first degree if you can prove that someone had the intent to kill somebody. And in my opinion, when a person is running away and you are still shooting them multiple times, that shows an intent to kill, or it can. And so these kind of questions, I think, should be addressed the same way that they are for normal people in the community who don't have a badge. I think that he should be put on trial just like anybody else would be put on trial, and members of the community can listen to the evidence, look at the facts, and decide what they think should happen. Just like anybody else, I don't think it's fair that he gets to live above the law just because he has a badge. I think that gives him a certain level of power and authority that is not fair, and that's where people get frustrated. Because is it okay that just because you're an officer, automatically we think that your badge gives you a pass, or it automatically gives you this stamp of honesty or dignity when you are committing things like this and taking black lives? I feel like if it were the other way around, actually I know that if it were the other way around, I've seen cases as a law student, as an intern, where other people, you know, regular people, black males, have assaulted police officers, shot police officers, attempted to kill or have killed police officers or other people, and there is no explanation. We don't want to hear how this happened. All that matters is that it did happen, and you need to be brought to justice. If that means sitting in jail for the rest of your life, that's what it means. That's what our state's policy says, and so that's what we should go by, just like we do for everybody else.
Well, you heard it. I need not say a word. I need not say another word. Hey, you heard it right here on the Timothy Showcase at the Ferguson Protest. I'm trying to keep my peace. They got me so riled up. Timothy with the Timothy Showcase right here on ABC 30. We appreciate you watching the show. We'll be right back. And we'd like to thank you, young lady, for your suggestions and your comments on everything.
Okay.
We'll be right back.